morning, good afternoon, and a very happy hump day, guys. Hope you're having a good one today. Hope you're having a great week so far. Just before I say hello to everybody, is it me or is YouTube acting kind of weird today? I've had videos that refuse to play. I've had a premiere that I was going to watch that I managed to watch, but anybody that came in late said it wouldn't load for some reason. I've been in videos where it says there's been zero interaction, even though they've been available for like 8 hours. I don't know what's going on. It's weird this morning, but that's okay. And I haven't had any notifications for anybody that I'm subscribed to. I did notice that as well, and I had to go back and check. So weirdness abounds this Wednesday, it seems, but that's okay. Let's see who we've got with us. We've got Leah Rose. Hello, lovely. Good morning. We've got D-Bud Martin. Great to see you as always. We've got the lovely Gun Bunny. Good to see you. Good morning to Brandon, the anime guy. That was a great show you just heard. Really enjoyed that. Excuse me, guys. Mobile Recluse, good afternoon. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good one. We've got Dave Bob. Good morning, Dave Bob. We've got Daniel. Hello, Daniel Leish. Good to see you, sweetheart. Keely Chow. Roll Tide, Keely. Good morning to you as well. Hope you're having a good one. And hello to OBG70. Great to see you. Good morning. The Underground, always good to see you. And good morning to Dave G Sound. Hello. Salty Texas, good morning. He says YouTube is acting weird. I'm glad it's not just me that it's acting weird for. Even the intro, I was watching it play. I opened a separate tab to see if it would actually start, and it kind of stuttered. Even though it was live, it was weird. YouTube is having massive issues. Yep, it does seem to be that way. YouTube is being a bee as always. That's reassuring to know. As long as it's not, I'm having connection issues. That's always an issue. Good afternoon to Ryan Roger Athay. Great to see you as always. And a big thank you and good morning to Phoenix Tangent, who sends us a 199 super chat. Thank you. Thank you so much, my love. Good to see you. It's been a while. Let's see who else has joined. We've got Billy Duncan. Hello to you. Great to see you. Good morning to Eldrick Lord Haster. Coffee right there with you, Haster. I could do with some as well. Absolutely. So, guys, I hope you're having a good one. So, what I thought I would do today, it's Wednesday. I thought I'd do a little bit of a news roundup. I found a few stories that I thought would be worth talking about for a little bit. So, let's get into it, shall we? The first one that I wanted to talk about, and this is a two-part because Oscar Isaacs has been kind of silly as well, but we'll get to that second part in just a moment. The first one that I wanted to go over is the Moonlight trailer. So the newest one that they've released. Now, this is a show that I actually had high hopes for. It's a character that I knew but wasn't familiar with. I've never read any of the comics for Moonlight. I think it's one of Marvel's least kind of used characters, so there was so much potential for this character, to bring in the fans, to kind of introduce a whole new generation to Moonlight, and I was all for it. I admit I've been a little bit kind of jaded with the MCU TV shows ever since WandaVision. Didn't really have any strong feelings for any of the other ones, so I kind of skipped over them. And to be honest, I don't really think we missed much by not reviewing them. But this one I was actually curious about. But it seems to have come under a little bit of a backlash because it shows a strong female character, of course, beating up a bunch of guys whilst our hero, in quotations, stands by and watches her. So this is bounding into comics, a big thank you to them. It says the latest official Moonlight clip appears to tease more of the same for Marvel Studios, as it shows actress May Calamore as Layla El Valley, savaging a bunch of goons while Oscar Isaac's character stands around and watches. See, I don't know whether this is going to be kind of a more fun type of show. They seem to have got down much kind of more dark path with this. And we know that they are heading in that kind of direction with some of the other shows that will be coming, especially closer to Halloween. So this seemed to take a less family friendly, I guess, but still within the Disney family friendly in quotations. But it seemed to be a little bit more adult in tone. But I'm not sure if this scene was supposed to be a joke or whether it's played seriously. It's hard to tell without context within the show. But they go on to say, as you can see above, the clip shows Layla Al Fowley encouraging Isaac's character to summon his Moonlight suit. However, he visibly does not understand what she's talking about. It's understandable given Isaac's playing Moonlight, and previous trailers have indicated he appears to have multiple personalities, and the right doesn't know what the left is up to. She then goes on to give him some kind of trinket, telling him to keep it safe. Apparently, their conversation is none too pleasing to Ethan Hawke, who plays the bad guy in this, who then begins to summon a ritual whilst his goons appear to try to keep Layla and Isaac's characters contained. As they attempt to escape up a staircase, Layla is able to exit the room, but Isaac's Stephen Grant is confronted by one of the goons. However, some kind of time anomaly appears to take place as Isaacs is shown once again climbing the stairs, and Layla's character is pummeling the goon at the top of the stairs. So it seems to be very, they've gone down, obviously, the mystical route with this. I would like to see it in context. I still have, hope that this is going to be a good show, not more of what we've had before with the quote-unquote strong female characters, and the main male character taking a side for them. We've seen that several times now. I think Hawkeye, people have cited as being the most obvious example of that. Let me jump back. Dave Bob says £120 woman gives a £220 dude a beat down. Yeah, and I can guarantee that's highly unlikely, even though she is no matter how well trained she might be. Let's see. We've got Pudgy, good to see you. Eldrick Lord Hasta says, I'm kind of excited for Moonlight. I was as well. I was hopeful for it. It looked different, and as I say, this is a character that I'm not that well versed in. I knew of him, but I never really kind of got into the comics. Dave Bob says, never read Moonlight. Boring. So this was their chance to really make the character shine and really show what he could do. Daniel says the laughter track put me off WandaVision tonally. I don't know what it wanted to do. I was all for WandaVision for the first 4, maybe 5 episodes when they were doing the sitcoms. I thought that was a really clever idea. But once they kind of dropped that and moved into, it was all about Wanda and how she was manipulating people and keeping this town enslaved, that's where they lost me, especially when we found out that there was no repercussions for what she did. She was just allowed to leave, and she was even said, I kind of understand, where you're coming from and why you did this. No, that's a villain, guys. That's not a hero. Let's just see what else they've got to say. So she beats the goon so badly that she slams him up against a wall and then tosses him off a balcony into a pile of wood. As the two then flee the scene, Isaac Grant exclaims, "That was awesome." That's it. Keep telling them how great they are. The clip ends with Harrow finishing off his ritual and some kind of demonic creature clawing its way out of the portal. Wasn't really sold on the demonic creature crawling its way out of the portal. I thought it looked really bad. So hopefully they're still working on that. The hand looked like really poor graphics, but it was just a very, very short clip. Let's see what else they've got to say. So the clip saw numerous fans criticise it on Twitter. One of them said it would have been nice to actually see some Moonlight in the show, called Moonlight. That I could agree with, yeah. Give us a taste of the actual character rather than what the supporting characters do. Jane Theory, there she is. Hey, Jane. She said, so he literally just going to stand by and do nothing. Pretty much, yes, yeah. Just you wait over there, Isaac, and she'll come back to you when she's ready. When she's finished kicking half a dozen guys' asses. Another one wrote, I regret to not live in a world where Moonlight was adapted by Mario Bava, Dario Argento, or Lucio Fulci. Those were the ones that could have pulled it off and given Marvel's Master of Macabre justice. Instead, I got Disney and SFX that looked like a Charmed episode. You know what? Now that I think about it, that hand did kind of look like it came from Charmed. I love it. So, as you can see, it got quite a bit of criticism, and kind of rightly so. I think this was one of those shows that people really were curious about. I think, as I say, not many people expected this character to be, brought into the MCU, to be used in a show. So this was their, chance to really do something with it. I hope that this is just kind of a one-off, and it was just a bad scene that they picked to send out as a clip. But I guess we will have to wait and see. I'm still hopeful that it's going to be a good show. Will I watch it? I will do what I usually do: watch the first episode and then decide, but I highly doubt that I'm going to review it, because I haven't bothered to review any of the other MCU offerings that we've had from Disney recently. And hello to TC Burton, good morning, good to see you. Pudgy says, Pudgy ponders if spinny things could help the show. Spinny things could probably help many things, Pudgy. Whether or not it could help this show would remain to be seen. And CZ says, good afternoon, Purple. Hope the voice is better. A little bit, still a bit croaky, as you can see, but I'm sipping tea at the moment. So fingers crossed, we'll be back to normal soon, very soon. Adric Lord Hester says, if I remember correctly, Moonlight helps against Mephisto in the comics. Yeah, that would have been a great kind of way to bring him in, since it was kind of teased that Mephisto was supposed to have been in WandaVision. Obviously, that didn't happen because of, they said, the coof and filming problems, but I would have loved to have seen him introduced, and then it could have led on to the Moonlight character being brought in later on. That would have been interesting. And good morning to Decepticons Cave of Villains. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day today. Good morning. So let me take that down. So, as I said, the other thing that in relation to Moonlight at the moment is that Oscar Isaacs has been gone down the route of Mark Hamill, unfortunately. There's been a lot of celebrities, and this is a very contentious issue at the moment. Obviously, it is the anti-grooming bill in Florida. People are weighing in both sides, for and against. But I think time and time again, the one thing that we've seen that we don't really need is celebrities telling people what they should and shouldn't be thinking. Now, I would never say to somebody, you can't have an opinion, but don't say that your opinion is the only opinion. So he also is in support of what Mark Hamill said, and Mark Hamill's response was just to, I think, repeat the word gay, if I remember, about 60 plus times in a tweet. At a press junket to promote Moonlight, Oscar Isaacs responded to the bill whilst talking to Variety. He said, "My comment would be," and then he started singing, "Gay, gay, 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 gay." You get the idea. He then added, "Yes, it's an absolutely ridiculous law. It's insane. It's insanity. And I hope that Disney, as a company, comes out as forceful as possible against this idea." Now, Disney themselves are obviously in a lot of hot water at the moment. They've got staff walking out, but they've also got staff that have, let's say, been implicated in things that they should not have been implicated in. And funnily enough, Disney have not really mentioned this. They haven't addressed the accusations of their own staff. They would much rather try to focus on the walkouts and keep the attention on that instead. So again, Oscar Isaacs, I like him as an actor, but I honestly, I don't care what he thinks. The same with Mark Hamill. I loved Mark Hamill, thought he was a great actor, but he's gone a little bit insane, I think, or it seems to be that way. The response from Disney, so the company originally claimed they would not be making a public stance against the bill, with the company CEO Bob Chapek explaining that in a company-wide email, "I also believe you deserve an explanation for why we have not issued a statement. We're going to have a more fulsome conversation about this company-wide Reimagine Summit tomorrow in April. But I will preview that discussion now as it is so timely." So they kind of walked back on that statement. They are absolutely going to talk about it as well. TZ Burton says, "Adult pretenders do not read the bill." A lot of people I've found haven't read the bill, and I've got to admit, being in the UK, I was curious. I looked it up, and to be honest, depending on which way you stand, I can fully see why you would not want this being taught in schools. Absolutely. Good morning to Pops. Good to see you. Great. Let's see. He also says Mark Hamill was in Corvette Summer with Ann Potts. I like that movie. I haven't seen that movie, I don't think. And Dave Bob says Hamill's a good actor, but should stay out of politics, as should all actors. I agree with that. Yeah. Politics, I don't think depending on what you do, if you're a politician, that's great. But you don't really want to meddle in it. Yeah, I've just had a message as well, guys. Check. YouTube is a little bit weird at the moment, so apologies. I might have to go back and make sure that this is still streaming properly. But before we go on to the next thing that I wanted to touch on, let me say a massive thank you to Salty Texas C, who has been a member for 2 months. He says, "Hail Purple. A fantastic YouTuber and truly wonderful friend. Nick Cage should have been Moonlight and Captain Marvel and Superman." Agreed. I would have loved to have seen him play absolutely any of those roles or all of those roles. It could still happen. You don't know. I did see that Nick Cage has actually paid off his debts now, which is pretty awesome. So good for him. You guys know I have a soft spot for Nick Cage. I always have done. I just think he's very funny. The next thing that I wanted to cover is one that I talked about 6 months ago, I think. Probably more now. Maybe even 9 months ago when it was first announced and we got the cast. We were talking about, do we like the cast? Do we think that this is going to be woke? And then it sort of died away. So this is Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Sorry, guys, I had to take a quick drink. So we haven't really had that much information about it. We knew that it was in the works. There was a lot of pushback with the characters and with the actors that have been chosen to play certain roles. Particularly Deaf, I think, was very contentious. Deaf in the Sandman in Neil Gaiman's work is iconic. She has a very specific look. Now they can appear to to look like anything, but everybody knows what she looks like. But she has been race swapped and will now be played by a black lady instead. But Neil Gaiman has come out to debunk the rumour that the Sandman has been cancelled already. So let's see what he has to say. Netflix's The Sandman is the long-awaited series from creator Neil Gaiman, but the lack of news has caused fans to speculate that it's been cancelled. Gaiman has soundly confirmed that this series is indeed still moving forward. On Twitter, a fan asked about the cancellation talks swirling around the series. Gaiman debunked the idea and wrote back, "Because we haven't yet announced a launch date, that's hilarious." Quite the clear-cut response. You still didn't announce a release date, though, Neil. Just saying. So I think a lot of people are, that this is one of those that it has a huge fan base, and I personally really do like Sandman. I think he's a very creative writer. Not a massive fan of him personally, but I think he's a talented writer. I think he's very imaginative, and Sandman was one of those series that was very different to what I was reading at the time. Whereas I was reading lots of superhero comics. This really kind of drew me in with the whole idea of dream and death and desire and delirium. These characters larger than life, and it was a really interesting concept, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So they say the Netflix series based on the Gaiman's highly acclaimed graphic novels follow Dream, Morpheus, the Lord of Dreams, who breaks free from decades of imprisonment to collect his objects of power and restore himself to his former glory. Along the way, Dream will come across various characters, both human and non-human alike, on his quest through diverse worlds of dreaming. Apart from the Sandman teaser and casting announcements, which I covered quite thoroughly, which include Tom Sturridge, who will be playing Dream. We've got Kirby Howell-Baptiste, who will be playing Death, and Gwendolyn Christie will be playing Lucifer, and Charles Dance as Roderick Burgess. So this has got a big cast. Some of the casting I agree with, some of them not so much, I've got to admit. If you want a really great cast that's almost perfect, I would say listen to the audio recording that they did. It's brilliant, it really is. Couldn't recommend it highly enough. Let's see what else they've got to say. There hasn't been much in the way of new information, at least not in the last 6 months. And believe me, I've been keeping an eye on it because, again, it was a show that I was curious about. Netflix has been keeping very mum about the project, and to agree that it's understandable. The Sandman is Gaiman's most notable work of fiction, and it's beloved by critics and fans alike. To many, it's a masterpiece of the art form, and to say that expectations are high would be an understatement for the ages. Considering the level of talent associated with this project, this being DC's most expensive show to date, it would be unlikely for Netflix to throw out what could be a major success before it's ever been released. Have they not, seen Netflix? Are they not familiar with with what Netflix does? Netflix reportedly has big plans for the series, which will likely continue for multiple seasons. So fans shouldn't worry too much. Honestly, this was just a little bit of a fluff piece because, again, they are keeping very tight-lipped about this show. I've searched and I still can't find a release date for when they were going to release it. I thought it was going to be, summertime this year, but I've checked and it doesn't seem to be the case. So I would guess it's going to be more towards the autumn time. But again, we will see. We've got a few more people joined. Good to see you. We've got Zakarov 315. Good morning. We've got Projekt Storytime. Good morning. We've got the Bat Channel. Hey there. Good morning. Good to see you. Says, what's up, Purple Valkyrie? Doing well, thank you. Hope you're having a good one as well. Let's see what else you guys have got to say. Dave Bob, just talking about the previous thing that we were talking about, says the Disney walkout was a big nothing burger. Yeah, I saw some of the walkouts on Twitter. Oh, bless. Let's see what else. Psychodorf 9, hello, love. And Psychodorf, I owe you an apology. I missed one of your super chats yesterday. You said Iceland, cold? Never. So I very, very sorry. I must have missed it when I was pulling up the pictures, but thank you. Thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate it. Always good to see you. Thank you. Let's see what else we've got to say. Whoops. So what do you think, guys? Are you curious about this show, or have people forgotten that Sandman was going to be coming? Because I thought that there was going to be, a lot more hype about it. I thought people were going to be a lot more interested in it, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems that people have, ever since they, released the casting and people kind of talked about it, it's just been forgotten. And the only thing that people are talking about at the moment, and rightly so, obviously, is Amazon's Lord of the Rings. But I think this is one to kind of keep an eye on, because this could be either something fantastic, or it could be, again, something that Netflix ruins. And I am very, very cagey when it comes to these sort of streaming channels, streaming platforms having these shows now. Because we've had so many that have turned out to be a little bit of a disappointment. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed and just hoping that this isn't the case with Sandman, because I think it could be something really amazing. Although I personally would have preferred to have seen it done as a animation rather than live action. I think you could really kind of bring the worlds and the characters to life through that. The Bat Channel says, I'm looking forward to Netflix's Sandman. Love the Lucifer show, which I know wasn't really based on the comics, so I'm excited for a more comic accurate show. I hope so too. I quite like Lucifer. I thought it was a pretty good show also. I enjoyed it. So fingers crossed that they really do this justice. Now, usually Neil Gaiman is quite hands-on when it comes to his properties. He was when they did the Good Omens, which is based on his work with Terry Pratchett. They really wanted to be as authentic and true to the source material as possible, and they were, for the most part. They had a great cast. I thought it was done really well. Now we have got a sequel coming, which kind of confused me, but again, this has been written by Neil Gaiman. Obviously, Terry's no longer with us, so fingers crossed that that is done justice as well. But we will absolutely see. Saga says, Purple, this was an excellent example of the art. I fear Netflix nosing it up. Yeah. I don't know whether that's like a knee-jerk reaction that we have nowadays, because we've seen it so many times, but it gets harder and harder every time to really kind of get excited about a show, especially if it's something that you've enjoyed in the past, if it's something that you love from a different medium, be it a game or a comic book or a film. you have high hopes for stuff that you love. And good morning, good to see you, Chris Wood. Hello, love. Good to see you. So the next thing that I'm going to jump across to is about CD Projekt Red. Now, CD Projekt Red, ever since we had Cyberpunk and the disaster that was, they've taken a little bit of a bashing. They've taken a little bit of a backseat because they were the creators that people had so much hope in. They hadn't done anything wrong up until that point. The Witcher franchise is incredibly popular. People loved it. So we've got news that CD Projekt Red announces the new Witcher Saga. CD Projekt Red drops a bombshell this morning on the first day of GDC 2022 as we're getting a new saga for the Witcher franchise. This will be the first new game in the series since The Witcher 3, which is a fantastic game, by the way, if you haven't played it. And while they didn't reveal any details to it, we did get to see this little image below, which is the one that I put in the thumbnail for today. So it's basically the medallion that we're all familiar with in the snow. So glowing medallion with the words "A new saga begins." As part of the announcement, the company also revealed that they will be moving all of their content over to the Unreal Engine 5 as part of a multi-year deal with Epic Games. Up until now, they've been using their proprietary Red Engine technology to make games, but this new deal will cover licensing, technical development, and potential use of future versions of the Unreal Engine. And it goes on to say they've got a couple of quotes for you as well. So, excuse me, guys. They go on to say one of the core aspects for our initial Red 2.0 transformation is a much stronger focus on technology, and our cooperation with Epic Games is based upon this principle. From the outset, we did not consider a typical licensing arrangement. Both we and Epic see this as a long-term, fulfilling tech partnership. It is vital for CD Projekt Red to have the technical direction of our next game decided from the earliest possible phase, as in the past, we spent a lot of resources and energy to evolve and adapt Red Engine. With every subsequent game release, this cooperation is so exciting because it will elevate development, predictability, and efficiency, whilst simultaneously granting us access to cutting-edge game developing tools. I can't wait for great games that we're going to create using Unreal Engine 5. They also were quoted as saying, Epic has been building the Unreal Engine 5 to enable teams to create dynamic open worlds at an unprecedented scale and level of fidelity. We're deeply honoured by the opportunity to partner with CD Projekt Red to push the limits of interactive storytelling and game playing together. And this will benefit the developer community for years to come. And that was a quote from Tim Sweeney, who is the founder and CEO of Epic Games. So it seems that CD Projekt Red is kind of turning a corner. We've got they're going back to the roots, which is obviously the Witcher franchise, which is arguably where they have done their best work, and I'm excited for it. I really enjoy the Witcher games. I think if we can get more brilliant games like 3, I am absolutely all for that. Projekt Storytime said Projekt Red really hurt their reputation since the whole cyberpunk disaster. They will have to be very careful with the fan base. I would agree with that, absolutely. I think a lot of people were very kind of burned and very disappointed but with the way cyberpunk was rolled out, and two, the response that CD Projekt Red gave when the complaints started rolling in. But I'm always for and up for giving people a second chance. So fingers crossed that they can create something brilliant with this new engine. Dave Bob said a new engine will always have problems. Absolutely. Good morning to the tat that shouldn't be. Great to see you. Hope you're having a good morning as well. Let's see what else we've got to say. Brandon says, I love the Witcher novels. I do too. I've only read 2 so far, but I'm working my way through them. Hope that CD Projekt Red can repair some of the damage they did with Cyberpunk 2077. I think over time they can, but I would agree with what you guys are saying in the chat as well. A lot of people, as gamers, can be once they're burned, it's very hard to get the goodwill back from them. So fingers crossed that they can. And good morning, Daniel. Is that I'm cursing the person that scheduled a work meeting at the same time as a purple stream. It's good to see you. Good morning. Psychodor said, CG Projekt Red brought Cyberpunk. It fell down. Haven't been back yet. Same. I bought the game, played it, and because it looked so terrible, I was one of those people that got the refund and got my money back. And I'm glad that they gave the refund back, but at the same time, I was quite disappointed because I was looking forward to Cyberpunk because it was something interesting. But getting more Witcher is always a good sign. So let's see how we go with that. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about today, guys, let me take a quick drink, was the news that after 5 years, Netflix is starting to break up password sharing. So whether or not this is going to be rolled out everywhere, we will see. But let's see what this has to say. And this comes from Bleeding Cool, so take it with a pinch of salt. It says, I think when I think of Netflix right at this moment, 3 things come to mind. First, we're exciting for the return of Umbrella Academy in June. Secondly, our monthly subscription bill is going up. And finally, and the reason for this post, the streaming service is going to start cracking down on password sharing moving forward. He goes on to say, I know that many of you out there are now thinking, are you kidding me? Sharing your password is as American as apple pie, baseball, and slowing down at accidents. They can't do that to us, surely. And I would say to that, nothing, because you never know who's reading this, and I don't need to suddenly start having issues. Yeah, this guy's trying to be funny. But he goes on to say, what I will say is that news is true, and that Netflix is test running a new service where subscribers can pay to share their logging intel. Over the next few weeks, subscribers in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru can add extra subscribers at an additional cost, which is about $3 US, to their subscription. From there, the streamer will evaluate how it went, and if it goes well, they will roll it out further. So, yeah, this is another reason, guys, to decide who you want to be streaming with. So it says, whilst Netflix CEO Reed Hastings promised there wouldn't be a turn the screws approach to combating password sharing, the days of the practice are numbered, and it's been a long time coming. Consider this the perfect storm combo. Netflix has more streaming competition than ever before, with Amazon, Disney Plus, HBO Max, etc., for the same pool of viewers. So keeping you a committed viewer is key. excuse me. Then you have the growing costs that come with being in a content war with dozens of other streamers as well as cable, which hits Netflix even harder considering the amount of original programming it puts out annually. Finally, you have the ripple effect from COVID-19. How long are they going to keep blaming that? That has impacted costs on a number of levels as more regions of the world slip back into lockdown. Who's slipping back into lockdown? From what I can tell, everybody is pretty much back to normal. We're all open up. I just obviously, as you know, came back from travelling, and there was no issues whatsoever in regards to the pandemic that we've been through. So I'm very sceptical on that one, as I am with pretty much anybody at this point who blames the COOF for a problem that they're having still. So see what we mean? There was no way that Netflix was going to let the status quo reign for so much longer. But thanks to this beautiful mass media that we call Twitter, we're able to time travel back 5 years to when the streaming service had a very different feeling about password sharing. And they've linked a tweet. It says, this was from Netflix. Love is sharing a password. It is absolutely. And I would imagine that most people that still have Netflix, there are multiple people on the account. That's just what you do. If there's multiple people in the household, you just share the one password. It just makes sense rather than having a subscription each time. Let's see what else they've got to say. But just in case it wasn't clear enough, let's isolate the love letter to password sharing that the streaming service embraced 5 years ago. But the crazy, wacky thing about love is that it can burn so hot, so bright for so long, and then the next thing you know, your favourite streamer is asking for their favourite hoodie back and letting you know they changed the password. But will Netflix actually make this a thing? We might doubt it, but history has told us otherwise. Every tool that's been created to keep people from doing something they want to do or don't feel is a big deal will be hacked 5 minutes after it's officially rolled out. We are hoping that Netflix knows when to say when, because there's nothing worse than an ex who doesn't know when to stop. Now, for me, I think if they did decide to go ahead with this and try to, add again another add-on where you have to pay to add, multiple people to a existing subscription, I think that's going to put a lot of people off, especially at the moment. People are much more selective, I think, with what they pay for. Definitely. That shouldn't be says saying more regions are slipping back lockdown is code for saying that China is slipping back into lockdown, which they are. And the PRC has taken a big economic hit. That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to say I can't think of any other regions, as you say, that's going to be the case. The Bat Channel agrees. It says supposedly China went into lockdown again. That's what they said when the Batman didn't do so hot opening up the weekend in China. Saga Dwarf says, they're going to blame the coup for years. Oh yeah, it's going to be a go-to excuse. Salty Texas C, thank you so much. He sends us a $1.99 super chat. Says, Netflix lost my dollars months ago. Will sail the high seas if needed. Absolutely. I haven't had Netflix. We've talked about this multiple times. Ever since the You Know What was shown on Netflix, that's when I bought my subscription. So I wouldn't go back to them, honestly. But I know a lot of people do like Netflix. Let's see what else we've got. And Psychodwarf says, never ever doubt corporate greed. I would agree with that. And Netflix, at the end of the day, will do what it takes to keep the money rolling in. And if it's a case of they have to, roll out across the board, the people with accounts. If you want to share them with your friends or family, you're going to have to pay for it. I think it's going to come back to it's going to come back to like having cable. I think again, that's how high these prices are going to be going, but we will see. Daniel says, I used to support multiple people with my Netflix and Hulu accounts, but shut both down back then too. Agreed. I think a lot of people did. That's when a lot of people kind of took a stand and said, I can't support this, and that's how I felt also. But we will see. I think it's something to keep an eye on. But as you say, if they can get away with it, I think they will, to be honest. I think it's something that is a long time coming. I'm surprised they haven't attempted to do it sooner, to be honest. Izaj Melody, good to see you. It says, from time to time they put out a hit, but they're slowly turning into the dollar store of streaming. That's a good way to look at it. Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm going to have to wrap up today because my voice is absolutely starting to fail me. So, let me say a massive thank you to everybody who joined today. It was great to see everybody, as always. I'll be back as usual on Friday. Zeropium will be joining me for that, so that should be a lot of fun. I will be guesting and on Sil Abdul tomorrow afternoon. Looking forward to that. And then we've got the Sunday show with Makini as well. So lots more to come this week. Hope everybody has a fantastic week. A massive thank you to everybody who sent super chats, who sent members chats. I really appreciate it, guys. It's always great to see you, as always. Hopefully YouTube sorts itself out, and whatever wobble we're having will be rectified in the next few hours or so. But yeah, if you've got a favorite content creator, keep an eye on them, because you might not be getting any notifications for them. So share the love, guys, because there's a lot of talented people out there. And just before we go, a huge thank you to Daniel. He sent us $5. Excuse me. It says, take care of yourself, Purple. Can't wait to go back and listen from the beginning. You make the day easier to get through. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, guys. I couldn't do it without you. Oh, you guys are the best as always. It's great to see everybody. And honestly, it's just, we're very lucky to get to do what we do. So thank you. I really appreciate that. And good morning to X-Wing. He says, hello, love. Hello, sweetheart. Good to see you. Hope you're having a great one as well. So, guys, have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. Lots more to come. Oops. Speaking of X-Wing, thank you, sweetheart. He sends us a $4.99 super chat. He says, I'm always late. Have a very wonderful day. Never late. There's no such thing as late on Rise and Shine. I'm just very, very happy to see people, and very grateful that you guys want to spend a little bit of your day chatting with me. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Guys, have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. Look after yourselves, look after each other, and no doubt we will see each other very, very soon. Thank you, everyone, and take care.